Hello my friends, welcome to the Boring Now YouTube channel. In today's video we want to have a look at one of the major issues that the blockchain industry is currently facing and how IBC and the Cosmos ecosystem is actually solving this problem. So without further ado, let's get into it. That huge problem that we are talking about is obviously the bridges. I mean, if you have not been living under a rock, you have been seeing the obscene amount of money that has been stolen on bridges just lately. I mean, we had the Ronin network hack, 624 million stolen not even a month ago. Then we had like the Poly network last year, we had the wormhole earlier this year, and just these top three here you can see is more than 1.5 billion stolen assets. And then we also had some more here, for example the Qubit Finance, that was only 80 million stolen earlier this year. So there is an obscene amount of money being stolen just in the last couple of months on bridges, and that makes it clear that bridges are a real security risk and a real problem for the entire blockchain industry. And that's even why Vitalik has come out in a recent Reddit post and said that due to this security limits of bridges, he thinks or he's optimistic about a multi-chain blockchain world, but pessimistic about cross-chain application. What does that mean is he's aware that we need different blockchains. We cannot just have, in this case, Ethereum handling everything. It's just no way that this would ever be sustainable and that we could have a scalable or a usable version of that. We need different blockchains for different applications. That's why we're going to have a multi-chain future for sure. But he's pessimistic about the cross-chain application. So those, in his opinion, those blockchains will not really be able to communicate together and will not have all those cross-chain bridging because as you can see, it's just too big of a security risk. But why exactly are those bridges dangerous? Well, I mean, a bridge has to be low cost, scalable, trustless and bulletproof to be somewhat usable, to have the users being willing to engage with it, right? But as those hacks have revealed, it's very, very hard to build something like that. Also, if you look at the infrastructure of the bridge, you have multiple avenues of attack, right? You can come from either side of the two chains that are bridged, or even the bridge itself, which often has like multi-sigs and that kind of stuff, right? And we saw something like that on the wormhole hack. Actually, the hacker came from the Ethereum side. He interacted with the bridge and used a loophole to trick the bridge into thinking that he deposited ETH into it, and then he could withdraw the wrapped ETH on the Solana side, right? So you have this middleman, that is not part of the two blockchains, but a separate entity in the middle that you can abuse. And that's what happened there. That's why the bridges are a security risk. And then on top of that, you have this Web 2 way of thinking where it's like quick and dirty, right? Get something out there, release it and break things, right? And then develop them as they are running. But the problem in Web 3 is, well, if that happens, especially with a bridge, yeah, you might uncover mistakes like that, as it happened, the loophole in the wormhole bridge, but people will lose a lot of money. Like, you lose a lot of money of the people using your product if you do that in Web 3. So that's why this mentality adds more risk into the whole bridging process. But luckily, bridges are not the only way to have a multi-chain future with cross-chain applications. We have a variety of different ecosystems that are building something that can achieve that. So, I mean, we have the Cosmos IBC, in which one we will dive a lot deeper. Then we have Ethereum with its layer 2 scaling solutions, Optimism, Arbitrum, and so on. And Vitalik has also been talking about those in said Reddit article. As I said, it's linked below. He explains why it's safe to use it with the layer 2 solutions. And then we have Polkadot with its relay chains that want to do something similar, and Avalanche with the subnets that they are building that also look for like a seamless interaction between multiple blockchains. So at this point, let's dive a little bit deeper into IBC and how it works, and especially how it's fundamentally different from how the bridges work. And what we can see here is we have two blockchains, right? We have blockchain A and blockchain B that are connected. But that thing in the middle is just the way how those blockchains directly communicate to each other. If this was with a bridging technology, you would have in between A and B an entity C that resembles the bridge. And that has been completely removed with the IBC protocol. So what happens instead, because the two blockchain can communicate directly with each other, is that if you want to send funds from blockchain A to blockchain B, blockchain A on the blockchain itself will lock those funds and then send a message over to B, where you can mint a token that resembles the token on blockchain A, and then you can interact with it on the new blockchain. So in that sense, it's kind of similar to how the bridging works, right? Just the main difference, and that's the very crucial thing, is that you cut out the middleman, and therefore you have no risk of having an attack on that middleman. And the security of this IBC protocol, therefore, is defined by the security of the blockchain itself. So if you want to have something like a wormhole hack, for example, you would actually need to overcome the security of blockchain A itself. You cannot attack it on the bridge or on that middleman, as we said, and that makes it makes an architecture that's much more secure. So you can see, I mean, one reason why IBC is much safer than bridges is its architecture, right? No keys, no multisigs, etc. as additional avenues of attack. You don't have that, so the security is purely defined by the security of the chains itself that interact with the whole Cosmos ecosystem, with the whole IBC protocol. But that's not the only thing. There is more things that the Cosmos developers have been doing to ensure the security. And the first thing is that they come in with a much different mentality than developers of other ecosystems, right? They have always chosen security over speed. Even if that meant or would mean in the future shutting down the network, they would still choose security, and they have been building the whole ecosystem like that. Therefore, it has been moving much slower than other ecosystems, because they have been spending more time on the engineering. They did a lot of auditing internally, they did a lot of auditing externally to make sure that the IBC protocol itself is absolutely safe and nothing can happen there from that side. And then another thing that they did is, it's also kind of a structural thing, is how the whole IBC thing is done for programmers in mind. So on Cosmos, it's very easy to program. If you compare it to other ecosystems, for example, like Ethereum with Solidity or on Solana, there it's very hard to make the smart contracts. It's easy to make a mistake, therefore, without even realizing it, and then that mistake will get exploited later on. But Cosmos is engineered in a way that if you made a mistake in your smart contract, it just won't work. It's that simple. So you have to eliminate it before it actually works. And Jack Samplin has been explaining all of that very well as well in a Splitting Atom series. I will link it in the show notes below if you want to see out how Jack has been explaining this whole process of why mistakes cannot happen or are much less likely to happen on Cosmos. And so this approach that the Cosmos developers took when they built this whole system is that, sure, on one hand, it took Cosmos much more time to get off the line, and you can still see that when you head over to CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, that Cosmos had been gaining much less attention and therefore still has a lower market cap than those other ecosystems like Solana or AVAX that have just been focused on shipping something, even though if the product wasn't fully finished or even is not fully finished yet. But on the other hand, with this approach, we have right now a multi-chain system that's fully up and running. And I mean, if we head over here to the map of zones, we can see we have those 43 blockchains already that have are IBC enabled, and they're communicating, they're sending the funds to each other. So this system is fully integrated and it's working. I mean, we have almost 1 billion of IBC volume weekly. So that's something that no other blockchain has, and we clearly have this adoption and this finished product yet. So that is the good side on the other thing, right? And we're right now in a phase where this really can grow exponentially, because new blockchains can very, very easily adopt IBC and be part of this network. And even existing blockchains, any blockchain that has fast finality can implement IBC. So besides Bitcoin and at the moment still Ethereum, because it's still proof of work, but once that's proof of stake and also will have a relatively fast finality, any blockchain, including Ethereum, including AVAX, they could all be IBC enabled. So that could make entire ecosystems join the Cosmos ecosystem or the IBC network, and hence has a possible insane level of adoption with that network effect that we already have right now in Cosmos. So right now, after this long building stage, we are now having a fully shipped product and are far ahead of where other competitors might be. So how does this Cosmos approach now actually benefit you? Well, there are various ways how this is beneficial to you. And I mean, the first and most obvious one is security. We have been talking a lot about that. If you're using the IBC to bridge your assets between different layer ones, then you don't run the risk of losing your funds in hacks. Then the second one is it's a great user experience. I mean, if you have been using a bridge, you know, you need to take multiple actions. It's kind of complicated. It takes a while. And IBC is just super smooth and easy. It's literally just a couple clicks to get your tokens to Osmosis, for example, and send them back, or send them back to any other chain. It's super smooth and easy experience for the user. Just a couple clicks and it's done. And due to the fact that it is so easy to transfer assets between the different IBC blockchains, we have a very, very strong competition among the different products, right? If you think, for example, about the DEXs, you have JunoSwap, you have Osmosis, you now have Crescent. So you have all those DEXs, and it's very, very easy to switch from one to the other. So they have to be very innovative and they have to work very hard to create the best possible user experience to make sure that they retain their users. So this strong competition will benefit the entire ecosystem, as it creates an atmosphere where the developers are constantly forced to develop better products and to improve on it, and then eventually you as the consumer will get the best possible product that you can use. And in that way, the fact that this super easy change and bridging your assets from one place to another really forces them into a much more competitive environment than it would be on any other chain. And that's, as I said, good for anyone using it, because it will drive better products. It will give us better products in the end. So as a little conclusion to wrap this all up, what we have learned is we will definitely, or most definitely, have a multi-chain world with a lot of use case specific blockchains that have different specialities, but the whole cross-chain bridging between those different ecosystems might make little sense, because it's just dangerous and a lot of funds get lost in hacks. And therefore you would move into a lot of isolated systems that operate multi-chain within, right? You have the Cosmos IBC, you have Ethereum and its layer 2s, you have Polkadot, you have Avalanche. At least that's where Vitalik and many others see this going, right? And if that's the case, then Cosmos with IBC has a clear first mover advantage, because it's the first ecosystem that has a fully functioning system running already, with already 43 layer 1s that operate within it. And this gives IBC, or in IBC creates great network effects that are difficult to compete with by the other systems, because they don't have that yet. They can't offer seamless and frictionless inter-blockchain interaction yet, at least yet. And then we also have the fact that Cosmos could become all-including, as almost any chain can get IBC enabled. So we might soon see IBC transfer between non-Cosmos chains, But until that happens, Cosmos will just maximize its first mover network effects. We will get a lot more chains that are onboarding, and this whole ecosystem will grow very, very fast from here, because as I said, it's just so easy to get implemented, to get started with IBC and to benefit from that huge network effect that Cosmos already has. And it's obviously also very safe to use for the users. And that was it for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you want to dive deeper into this topic, I'll link a blog article from one of our Boring DAO analysts that has been diving much deeper into the whole IBC, how it works, and explaining all the stuff that we have been talking about in this video. So it's linked below, check that one out. Then I'll also link the post from Vitalik on Reddit, and obviously also the video that was on the splitting atoms, where Jack explained why he thinks IBC is a lot more secure. So you have all of those links below. Thank you so much again for tuning in. If you enjoyed it, please smash up that like button and subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Peace out. Talk to you soon.